Hello and welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a little different. You might even say I'm headed on the highway to the danger zone, even though I'm actually only going I-90 to I-5, but I am going to the Museum of Flight. So I thought I'd put on my shiny sunglasses and talk a little bit about it. So in the before times, my photography classes were often in the late afternoon, and so I would take a class on a field trip to the Museum of Flight on their free first Thursdays, which are free from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. Anyway, so I've been there a lot, but I haven't been there in a couple years. So there's a couple exhibits that are new that I wanted to see and take a look at. Plus, this is the start of the third week of using my X-H2S, so I wanted to see how it performs in this situation. So that's why I'm returning to the Museum of Flight. Regular Michael back here. So the kit I'm bringing is, as I mentioned, the X-H2S, which is recording this video. Plus, I'm bringing the zoom lenses, the Fujifilm zoom kit I have, which is the XF10 to 24 f4, the XF16 to 80 f4, and the XF70 to 300 f4 to 5.6. Now, you might be asking yourself, hey, the museum is probably dark in a lot of places. Why aren't you bringing your fast primes? Here's why. The main reason is the primes I have are 11, 23, and 50. So it's not quite the range I want. The museum is cluttered in places. So I tend to like to get more telephoto shots or very, very wide. So the middle is, I'm often less there in the focal length. The other reason is I wanted to test the capabilities, the low light capabilities in the darker part of the museum of the X-H2S. So I figured I'd probably be at ISO 6400 at least in a couple places and see how it performs in the real world. So that's my thinking on the lenses. Let's go take a drive. Let's go into the museum and I'll see you after the photo. Well, there you have it. Some photos from week number 3 of using the X-H2S. I'm getting more familiar with the interface. However, if I'm completely honest, I will let you know, if you promise not to tell anybody, I had to re-record the intro. I had to do that after I got back from the museum. I recorded the intro at the museum in the car, but I did it in the 120p slow-mo, so there was no audio with it, and it was messed up. So anyway, I had to record the video again when I got back home. Anyway, it happens. I'm learning the camera. I really like it. As you'll notice, a couple of those photos that you just saw were at 1/40th of a second at various focal lengths, and the IBIS and image stabilization worked really well together. So really pleased with that. I'm also pleased with the image quality at ISO 6400. Just like I was at the with the X-T3. So really happy with the camera. My one wish, if Fujifilm's listening, maybe, I wish, and maybe there's a way to do this and I just don't know it, that on the command dials I could go in full stop increments, especially on shutter speed, because that's what I usually use. That would get me more quickly from one end of the slow shutter speed to a fast shutter speed more quickly, save me 2 clicks in between each stop. So anyway, that's my wish. There you go, Fujifilm. If you can set that in firmware, I'd appreciate it. A couple thoughts on photographing at a museum. First of all, sometimes museums are not set up for photographers. In fact, I would say all the time. As you'll notice, museums have a lot of stuff often. Sometimes it's very photogenic, like these airplanes were, at least to me. But it's hard to create interesting photos of airplanes because there's a lot of stuff around them. So it's a great exercise in creating compositions that are interesting, finding ways to simplify, finding ways to show your subject, but not all the other things. So that's oftentimes why I will go more towards the longer focal length range of things than the wider thing. Secondly, when you're at a museum, sometimes photos really won't happen. So I need to remember to put my camera down, be there to learn, be there to enjoy, be there to appreciate all the things that have been set aside to remember. So sometimes it's not all about the photo, but sometimes it is. So anyway, some thoughts at the museum. I had a really good time. It was about 4 or 5 hours walking around by myself, which I haven't done in a long, long time at the museum. It's a great place to visit if you get a chance. If you're in the Seattle area, I highly recommend it as both an educational place, an informational place, as well as an interesting photographic place. All the photos from today's video will also be available on Flickr. I'll leave that link in the description below, and as well as things to do below. One of the things you can do is leave a comment if you have thoughts, opinions on today's video. I greatly appreciate it and enjoy having conversations with you. Thank you. Another thing you can do would be to do the thumbs up thing. Thank you very much for that. If you enjoyed this video, it helps out a bunch of ways. One, it helps you by training the YouTube algorithm about videos you find interesting and enjoyable. And then therefore, it would also potentially help this channel by showing this video to other people who enjoy similar videos. So again, I thank you. If you did enjoy this video and want to see more like it, a great way to do that is to subscribe. I will do videos about once a week and similar kind of photo experiences out and about with my camera, and you'll get to join in the journey. If you have any specific comments or suggestions for topics, I'd be glad to entertain those. Please leave those in the comments below. Anyway, it's been a fun adventure so far with the X-H2S. I'm looking forward to continuing to grow and learn with it. I have a commercial event coming up, as well as a wedding. So the first wedding and a second commercial project with this lens, camera, I mean, and so far so good, and away we go. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, stay safe, stay well, and have fun creating photos. Bye for now.